What is going on, Dominators? Rico Garcia here with another exciting episode. Now, this episode I'm really excited about because it's just going to be you and I want to go ahead and share some secret sauce with you today. I want to be talking about marketing, positioning, what you can do in your business, and more importantly, what I really want to talk about, and the thing that I'm most passionate about just as an individual, is really getting the brain to work in ways to look at your business in certain ways to say, okay, what can I do as far as positioning? What can I do as far as branding? What can I do as far as marketing that is going to get me more market share, that is going to create more loyal customers? What's going to cause the most amount of repeat business? Now, I know what you're saying, Rico, we're in the restoration business. How much repeat business can you get? If you do it right, a lot. Okay, if you do repeat business and that's the goal that you're going after, it's actually quite a lot, because really what you're trying to do is cultivate cheerleaders for you, for your organization, for your team members. And again, we're only separated by 3 or 4 or 5 people, right? So if you can create good quality cheerleaders, those people will inevitably help you grow your business. And this is something that I've spoken about a lot when it comes down to tracking LTV or lifetime value. This is more of a online marketing thing, but again, it does apply to the restoration arena. And just really get the gears going about how you can position yourself, your company, maybe wean off a little bit of some of the program work or some of the insurance work, right? And, maybe you've got one of these businesses that you're doing several $1 million a year because you got your business development team out there pounding the pavement, shaking hands, kissing babies, and they're killing it, right? They're killing the game for you. But, there's this whole other market maybe that you haven't tapped into. Maybe it's the residential side, or maybe you're killing it on the residential side, but you want to get a little bit more on the business development side and the commercial side of things. And, we're going to talk about marketing in a very holistic way. And I'm not going to get overly technical, but I want to go ahead and leave you with enough value out of this particular podcast to where if it whets appetite, you can go ahead and do a little bit more research. And more importantly, this is stuff that all can be executed in-house fairly easily. As a matter of fact, I would strongly suggest for anybody who's listening and watching to the show, if you have the ability to legitimately bring your marketing in-house, I would heavily consider doing that. Again, no one's going to care about your business more than you. No one's going to understand your messaging more than you. And we're going to cover a lot of these things. And I want to share 10 points with you that I think can go ahead and change the game for your business if understood and if executed properly. So without further ado, let's jump into the show. Grab your pencils, grab something to write on. You're going to want to take some notes. Really excited about this one. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the Restoration Domination Podcast, where you learn actionable advice that moves the needle and helps service-based businesses dominate. Here's your host, Rico Garcia Jr.
All right, guys, what is going on? I am live with you today because I want to go ahead and share one of the things that, in my opinion, are the most important in business. And if you've been following the show for a while, you know that one of the things that I've said over and over again is that even though you are a restoration business owner, even though you're doing dryouts, even though you're doing insurance billing and you're doing all of these things, at the core, that's not the business that you're in. And if there's one big takeaway that I really genuinely hope that you take away from this one episode, is that small shift in your mind of saying, I am not in the restoration business. I am in the business of marketing and producing sales and hard dollars for my service that just so happens to be restoration. Okay. So if there's one thing that I really hope that you take away from that, is that small little shift in your mind that says, wait, hold on, I'm no longer a restoration business owner. That is my business. That is the product. That is a service that I sell. But at my core, I am a marketing and sales genius within this arena. And if you could do that, I think that a lot of interesting things start to happen. I think that you start looking at different industries. You start looking at what's working and what's not. And you start questioning why certain companies in our industry are doing business the way that they're doing it. Right? Why are they not aggressively marketing? Is it because, could it possibly be that there is this influence of, TPAs? right? Where it's like, hey, you know what? We're doing program work. We're okay. We get that money coming in. Could it be that we've put a lot of pressure on our business development team, right? And they're doing a great job. They're going out there, they're pounding the pavement, they're shaking hands, kissing babies, big smile. They're talking, this big game about your company and all the things that they could do. But really, at its core, what's happening is that we all kind of feel there's this element of feeling like circling vultures, right? We're just waiting for a carcass and we're just circling around. We're shaking hands, kissing babies. Like, hey, what does this other company do? What's their response time? Has it been shitty? Has it not been good? Well, I'm a better option. And it's like this. And again, I'm not saying that there's anything bad with that. But what I'm saying is that there's skill. There's clearly a sales skill that's involved there. And I'm not going to diminish any of that. But there's also this luck factor that goes into the mix. And as an entrepreneur, you want to try to eliminate as many luck factors as possible, and you want to get it down to as much as a science as possible. So what we're going to talk about today is there's many pillars, but we're going to talk about two of the biggest pillars that I believe should be part of your marketing endeavors and efforts. What are these two things? Thing number one, PPC advertising. That's going to be your Google ads. That's going to be your Bing ads, right? Pay per click advertise. Okay. And exactly what that is, and more importantly, how it's different than other forms of advertising, and why you really, really want to take a step back and consider, if you don't have one already, a marketing campaign built around PPC. Even if you are the largest in your area and people are constantly looking for your company in particular, you still want to have a PPC ad in place. And there's several reasons for that. Maybe we'll get into that specific detail or not. We'll see as the conversation progresses. Okay. And then the other portion of marketing that I think is extremely, as a matter of fact, I know, because I'm speaking to some of the top entrepreneurs in our industry that are telling me what's working and what's not. And very, very few, I would say that less than 5% of some of the top entrepreneurs within our space that have amazing size companies, they are not using what I'm about to tell you about, and what I would highly, highly recommend, because if done properly and if done over a time period, the ROI, the return on investment, the dividends that this thing pays off is absolutely amazing, and simultaneously not only gets you money quickly, right? It's a cash flow issue, but then it also builds an amazing brand while doing marketing. Okay. And that is direct response marketing. Okay. So these two elements is what I want to talk about today. Is your PPC, pay per click type of advertising. This is going to be your Google ads. This is going to be your Bing ads, things like that. Okay. And then I also want to talk about implementing a direct response marketing. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take it step by step. So the first thing that I want to share with you today is PPC, right? Let's start talking and taking a deep dive into PPC advertising and why you should do it. And I'm going to go through a couple of broad strokes. Now, again, you and I are not sitting across the desk from one another, so I don't know your exact business situation. I don't know your revenue. I don't know your profit margin. I don't know where you're investing at this particular point. So I'm going to cover just a few sides of the spectrum with a rather, broad stroke here, but I think that we're going to be able to cover the most of it. So PPC advertising, why do I love it more than most pieces of advertising out there that's available to us restoration contractors? Number one, if you're just starting off, okay, this is a relatively new business for you. You are looking for business right away. You probably have a website designer or SEO company that's already kind of starting, to build your website, but you're not quite ranking number one, or maybe you are number one, like right in your little town or city. But again, the majority of your business isn't coming from there. You find yourself driving to several different locations. We've all been there, right? That beginning, getting off the block strong. Okay. The reason why I love PPC so much is because, number one, you get to skip to the very front of the line. It's a pay to play scenario. So if you've got a little bit of cheddar, you got a little bit of money that you can go ahead and put into your advertising, into your marketing. Well, now what you do is you've just literally shaved off months, possibly even years of consistent SEO payments, right, to an SEO specialist, a search engine optimization specialist, to build backlinks and write blog articles and have content rich pages and making sure that all of the technical analysis is done properly, that, you're on page and off page SEO, like all of these things, that all of that's done properly. And then eventually, if you're better at it than the competition and the Google gods take a liking to you, you make it up to spot number one. Okay, cool. Or PPC now steps into the picture and you say, hey, look, I got, a $50 budget a day. I got a $150 budget a day. Let's go ahead and skip all of that and go right down to what is considered the bottom of the funnel, right? So imagine a funnel, the very, very bottom. These are the people that are most interested. These are the people that are searching with intent. They need something now. They need it today. Well, that's where PPC really shines, because if someone's looking for just as an example, plumber near me, odds are they're not doing a college paper on that. They're looking for an emergency plumbing service today. If someone's looking for an emergency dry out, or if they're looking for mold remediation specialists near me, like whatever their search query is, that is search with intent. They're looking for the product and service that you have. Okay. So instead of spending all of this time, money, and energy, and trust me, it will cost you time, because you're not going to build an SEO strategy today and start seeing results tomorrow. It just does not work that way. It's going to cost you money, because unless you've got, a niece or a nephew or someone who's doing your SEO strategy for free, odds are you're going to a marketing agency. They're going to charge you. Hopefully they're charging you a decent amount of money, no less for a small website of anything less than $12.50. Are you really going to get anything worthwhile as far as SEO services? So you're still paying for all of that. And at the end of that, you still have no guarantee. All right. So that's SEO. Whereas with PPC, now you can just say, hey, look, this is my budget. This is how much I have to spend. Let's go ahead and start building an ad campaign. You put your ad campaign into Google. If you know how to click a mouse, you know how to go ahead and do the ads, and you start pouring money into the ad campaign. Now, what's going to happen is when somebody goes ahead and does a search, now all of a sudden they click on that, and then hopefully they take an action, whether 9 times out of 10, especially in our industry, it's not so much a form fill on your website as much as it is an actual phone call. Right. So now what PPC does is, for a couple of dollars, and even though our industry is probably, besides the insurance industry, is one of the most expensive as far as a per click cost, because of what our profit margins genuinely are, right? Or generally are, I should say. And because of the average ticket value of our services, whether it's water mitigation, molds, fire, smoke restoration, whatever. If you're doing recon on the back end, that's basically double dipping on, in that particular deal. So there's all of these like great opportunities, right? And here you are, you're spending some money, person takes, does a click, and hopefully they take an action, which is call your company. Boom. That is the fastest way to go ahead and get leads, and more importantly, motivated and needy buyers right here, right now. Now, here's the beauty about technology and where it is today. Maybe you're listening to this podcast and you're like, man, that sounds great, but I don't know how to run an ad. No worries. This is where, technology is in a place right now that is so easy for you to go ahead and build all of these things. And I want to put you up on some game today, because again, this isn't something that a lot of people are really talking about in the industry. And the people that are advanced enough, that understand how to harness this stuff, they're using it to win, and they're looking and they're beating out the competition, and everybody's kind of wondering, like, how are they doing that? Okay. Let me put you up on the game on how it's done. If you have zero technical experience and you're not quite sure what to do. Moving on to the next point is, and this is a perfect segue, which is the crafting an effective ad campaign, right? Because again, you're talking about this right now. You're like, man, Rico, I don't really know like what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to build an ad. I'm not familiar with the platform. No big deal. One tool that everybody should be using today is, in some shape, way, or form, they should be using AI. Okay. Artificial intelligence. It's been, all of the conversations online, especially in the online space, and with good reason, right? AI right now, and in this particular conversation, for the purposes of this conversation, we're going to be talking about Chat GPT. Again, that's Chat GPT. And there's Chat GPT 4, which is a small like monthly fee, which by the way is totally worth it. I think it's like $20 a month. Totally worth it. If you haven't gotten it, I would certainly recommend. I'll leave a link in the video description as well as in the show notes below, so that you can check that out. But Chat GPT is your access to infinite knowledge, right? I mean, to kind of be comical about it, but it really is all this information about how to pretty much do everything and in a step-by-step. And more importantly, what it does is it takes the worry away from you of staring into a blank screen saying, what are the 90 characters that I'm going to use for this headline or for this description? So really, when it comes down to crafting an effective ad message, right? Or an effective PPC campaign, it's all about selecting the right keywords, right? What are your customers looking for? What are the terms that they are looking for that they're going to punch into the Google machine that Google's going to be like, oh, this is what you mean. These are the company recommendations that I have. So selecting a good set of keywords that you want to bid on. Once you have this set of keywords put together, which by the way, a lot of people overcomplicate this, right? What you want is you want intent-based keywords. What is this? This would be water mitigation near me, mold remediation near me, whatever. Like those really simple type of keywords. Yes, you're going to pay a little bit more for them, but do you really want to be effing around all day trying to have 1,300 words in your ad campaigns because maybe on some off shot you can nurture that particular lead? Let me be the first one to tell you, you don't have time for any of that. Right? Number one, it's not profitable. And number two, no one's got the time to go ahead and manage that amount of keywords. And also, as a very important note, you're also going to blow through your budget on keywords that don't mean anything to you, your company, your bottom line, or what your lifestyle is going to look like from the money that you're wasting, right? Literally, you're just going to be burning money. So keep it simple, keep it sweet. All you need, especially in the beginning, 15, maybe 20 keywords, right? And more importantly, by using AI, like things like ChatGPT, you could literally use ChatGPT to provide you the absolute best headlines and descriptions, as well as any other area of your Google ad. And we've put this to the test with seasoned accounts that are doing a tremendous amount of business, that have an amazing track record. And every time that we've put it up against ChatGPT for better headlines, descriptions, things that are going to measure the click-through rate, which again, lingo, but the click-through rate is simply, for those that don't know, are how many times does your ad need to show in order for someone to click. That's going to give you a click-through rate, right? So for example, if you have 100% click-through rate, that means that every single time your ad is shown, 100% of the people that see that ad click on the ad. If you have a click-through rate of 10%, well, out of every 100, you're only getting 10 of those clicks, right? Every time that we've looked at the data, the person who's coming up with the headlines, as opposed to what ChatGPT produces as a headline, it beats it out every single time without exception. So using technology to really help you build that aspect of your business, right? And for everything else, honestly, there's YouTube, and there's also courses that are available out there on how to set up a Google Ads campaign, how to set up a YouTube campaign, how to do all of this stuff. As a matter of fact, we have Total Ads Domination, which is currently closed. It's not open to the public. We were going to be opening it up here pretty soon. If you want to get some information on that, drop me an email and at Rico at restorationdomination.com. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and put you on the waiting list. But in other words, there's tons of information out there that if you really need that additional help and or coaching on it, there's tons of resources that you can find. But just by opening up Google, opening up ChatGPT and asking for it to give you headlines, give you keywords, and give you ideas, you should be off to the races right there. Now, another major point when it comes down to this is, where are you going to send that traffic to? Okay. And this is where it starts to get really interesting. So what you want to do, and you're going to want to fight the temptation of of doing this, because a lot of companies are making this mistake. And I'm talking about huge companies are making this mistake. What you want to do is you do not want to send them to your website. You do not want to send your traffic to your main website. And there are so many reasons for this. So many reasons. It's absolutely insane. But one of the main reasons why is because you do not want to unfocus the customer journey. In other words, you want to make this as easy for them as humanly possible. You don't want any distractions. You don't want them looking at your contact page and your 45 blog posts and, all of these other things and their 45 different services that you provide. Nobody cares about that. Whoever is going to Google to find a particular service, they want to only be presented with that information. Now, that's not to say that you can't show your testimonials, that you can't share some additional information. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is we don't want them to go directly to your website. The reason is you want them to go, or where you want them to go, I should say, is you want to send that to a landing page. A landing page is basically just a regular old website, except it's just one page, or it's a funnel style. In other words, that it's one page that covers everything that you want to cover related to that one search. And maybe there's a next step after that, that you can draw an email from them. You can, give them some kind of a lead magnet, maybe a consumer guide to picking a water mitigation company. That would be an amazing free resource for you to offer on your website, things like that, right? And now that you have them on a landing page, you have, number one, you could track with much more accuracy everything that's going on that particular page. And more importantly, you actually put the blinders onto the client. So you're directing them to what their next step is. So you're giving your absolute best digital sales presentation, if you will, and you're keeping them on that one page to where you're either driving them to make a phone call or you're driving them to fill out a form, get a free resource, something of those lines. And I know that it sounds counterintuitive, but our industry needs to, especially if you're really looking to grow, is really focus on an email list. Focus on an email list. You would be surprised at how much an email list can generate for you and your business as you start acquiring a significant amount of emails, right? So as people are going to your landing page and they have got this amazing resource, whatever that amazing resource may be, we've played with tons of them. To give you some ideas, an official guide to water mitigation, right? And hiring a water mitigation company, guides for, health effects of mold in a home, and, 13 steps to making sure that you're hiring the right mold remediation expert. Like, all of these things are amazing lead magnets, right? The 5 biggest mistakes homeowners make when hiring, fill in the blank, right? All of these are great things that, as a homeowner, if they come to your site and they're like, oh, wow, this person's like an authority, like they have like a free, book that they're going to send me, or this free guide that they're going to send me, immediately you've already won out the majority of the competition, because most people aren't even putting together resources like that. Again, circling back around to the idea, you're like, man, Rico, I don't have time to write any of this stuff. Don't worry about it. Use ChatGPT. Use ChatGPT. Let it be the originator. You're going to give it a couple of prompts, and just like you're talking to your friend and be like, hey, I have a mold remediation company. I would really love to have this content, this ebook that I can hand off to my customers that cover the 5 biggest mistakes that that homeowners make when they're buying or when they're looking to hire a mold remediation expert. What would be a good ebook outline? And just like that exact same prompt, that'll spit out everything that you need, and then you become the editor. You're going to add and subtract and, fact check things. But at this point, you're no longer staring at a blank screen. It's already kind of doing the work for you. So not only do you want to kind of circling back around here to the landing page. So not only do you want to go ahead and drive traffic to the landing page, what you also want to do is you want to have a place where you can totally track it, including phone calls. So let's talk about landing page software. What should you use? There's tons out there. My personal favorite is ClickFunnels. And again, even ClickFunnels Classic, which is what I use the most, this gives you the ability to build out very, very fast web pages. And I know that some people are out there thinking, oh my God, I don't know how to build a web page. Have no fear. Literally, this is a drag and drop. They have tons and tons of templates. It's one of my favorite softwares to use. It's made me tons and tons of money. Again, it's very, very easy to use. If you've never used ClickFunnels and you're intrigued and you want to play around with it for a little bit, or you're one of those like really gun-ho individuals, what I'll do is I'll actually leave a link in the video description as well as in the show notes to a free 14-day trial. You can play with it for 14 days and see exactly how easy it is to put together an amazing landing page. One that I would even venture to say, with just a couple of days of you playing around with this, it'll probably rival a $5,000, $10,000 website that you've probably been charged once upon a time. Again, that's how advanced all of this technology is. Like, it doesn't really take that much skill. It just takes courage to kind of step out there and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can do. Right. So ClickFunnels, make sure that you check out the link below. Cause I think that is probably one of my favorites. There's other builders out there, but ClickFunnels is definitely one of my top one. The other thing that you would do is also now track the phone number, and you can do this through things like CallRail, tons of other services, right? And why do you want to go ahead and have a different phone number? The reason why you want to have a different phone number is you really want to have a different phone number for each and every single one of your campaigns. It doesn't matter if you're doing print or if you're doing email or whatever's happening. Having a call service like CallRail or something of that sort, there's tons of softwares out there. What this will do now is this will tell you exactly which campaigns are being successful and which ones aren't. Nothing is being left to chance. It's not, 30 more calls that are getting into your business and you're relying on the person who's answering the phone to say, hey, by the way, where did you find us today? Well, they're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, I just found you on Facebook. When really they found you on Google Ads, right? Or, they saw a YouTube video and they're like, yeah, I was on, I was on Google. Well, were you on Google, or did you type in something in and then Google showed you a YouTube video and then you clicked on the YouTube video? And then, so you can see how stuff can get lost. This is why tracking things are so important, right? So now, once you have this and you have your landing page and you're doing your PPC campaign, what's the next step? The next step is about tracking, right? And nurturing that lead. What I mean by nurturing the lead is very simple. You want to have something that, whether you always want to go ahead and track emails and try to get as many of those emails as you possibly can. The reason why you want to do that is when you capture that email, now you have an opportunity to do much more direct marketing style things. In other words, something that I think that most companies should start to implement is to implement a newsletter, a legit newsletter. Now, what does this newsletter need to be about? Well, odds are is that your customer really doesn't care about, how much your business is growing or anything like that. But you know what they will care about? They will care about new hires that you made. They will care about events, local community events that you were a part of. They will care about that heart-touching story that you might have had with a client on how you helped them. And, filled with pictures, maybe even a testimonial, right? They will be interested after you've kind of prefaced, after you've already kind of disclosed like all of these amazing things that your company is doing, your customer spotlight of the month, whatever the case may be, what your goals are, right? Like, where are you going to be in the community next? Are you going to have like an appreciation day, or are there any offers that you'd like to make to your email list? Is there a referral program that incentivizes your reader, your email list to pass out your business card to say, hey, Susie, make sure that you mention my name, right? Make sure that you mention my name if you need service, right? Like, how are you incentivizing this? Now, we all know that this stuff works. The problem is that most people don't do it because it kind of looks like work, right? And marketing agencies, here's the catch, and I've got a lot of marketing buddies in the industry, so I'm not jabbing at you guys personally, but here's the God's honest truth. Most marketing agencies don't want to have direct response style marketing because there's accountability involved. There's a lot of accountability involved, because if they can get you ranked on Google, number one on Google, right? Well, there's, 200 plus points that factor into your rankings on Google. And you could easily point the finger and be like, oh, well, yeah, Google's not picking up on this, and that's why we're not number one. But when you start implementing direct response, all of a sudden things are a little bit different, right? Because now there's a direct action and you're expecting a direct response from a client. So, point is, by capturing that email, now you can go ahead and do much more direct response things. Another thing that I would highly recommend is making sure that you can find a way to have people to opt into your email list and also provide an address. Always provide an address. Or if you're getting the phone call, make sure that the top 3 things that you capture before you do anything else is, sure, what is your name? Who am I speaking to? What is your phone number in case we get disconnected? Okay. What is the home address or the business address that you're calling about? Right? So again, now you have a name, now you have a phone number, and now you have the home address that you're talking about. Someone says, oh, well, I'm not ready. I don't know. I just wanted to go ahead and ask you a couple of questions. Yes, I understand, Mr., ma'am, all this stuff, but we're only asking about the home address. We want to make sure that we service you, and more importantly, that we have a truck in the area in case you need our assistance now. What is that address? Just ask again. Get the address, okay? And then lastly, great, what is your email address? Okay, great. Now tell me about your problem. How is it that we can help? Right? With reason why you want to capture all of that information up front is because now you have access to that lead, okay? And make zero mistake about it. Having access to that lead at any time that you want, meaning you have a mobile number, now you've got SMS marketing, right? Text message marketing. You have an email address, now you've got a digital newsletter that you can dump into their inbox, right? You can send them offers. You can send them incentives. You can send them free vacation packages. There's like so many things that, we've done as a lead magnet that have worked. You've got an address. Well, guess what you can do now, right? Now, even if this is not a customer, now you can do direct response marketing directly into their mailbox, right? Whatever that particular thing might look like as far as your marketing campaign. So making sure that you capture all of that. And all of this is facilitated by having a good landing page and really thinking about what your opt-in offers are. That could be, again, an ebook, a download, a checklist, some kind of a cheat sheet. Warnings do really, really well. Anything that is controversial does really, really well, or that makes them ask themselves, man, what's going on? Like, what is it that I don't know that I should probably know? And this is going to be a 5-minute read. And I really hate myself if I passed up on this and if I made that mistake, right? That's the kind of feeling that you want to go ahead and get from people, right? So now that you got all of that, great. Now let's talk about a little bit more about, your direct response marketing and the essentials that you need for direct response marketing. And I'm going to give you a couple of resources that you can use today. But before we do that, let's just take a quick moment and thank our sponsors. Hey, Dominators, most owners with an agent marketer hope that they're getting a return on their investment, but really have no idea how many referrals they're actually getting from individual agencies. You see, agent marketers are not sales professionals. Jerry Edel is a specialist at referral revenue from insurance agents. He started back in the 70s as a restoration technician, and 34 years later, ended up as the national sales trainer for one of the largest restoration franchise companies here in the US. And for the past 16 years, he's helped restorers succeed at creating long-term referral revenue from insurance agents. Agent marketers are in-person advertisers. Agent sales professionals are job generators when they actually have a strategy. Who do you have working for you? Do they have the tools that they need to capture the market share that's available to you? This is what I want you to do. I want you to talk to Jerry. Click the link to schedule a free call. Up-level your profitability today. Hey, Dominators, did you know that about 80% of businesses are actually unsellable? This is why you need to let Restoration Brokers of America work with you to ensure that you maximize the value of your business when you decide that it's time for a change. All you have to do is visit sellmyrestorationbusiness.com for more information. You've worked hard to build it. Now let RBA work hard to sell it. Hey, Dominator, did you know that it takes about 45 days for most contractors to get paid on emergency service jobs? And some contractors report much longer wait times than that. Either way, It's a long time, especially when you start adding in all of the stress that you have to do to keep up with payroll, overhead costs, and everything that goes along with just running a business. Well, One Claim Solutions is an insurance billing specialist that not only gets their clients paid in 32 days on average, but it also improves their profitability. And above and beyond that, it also handles all of the communications with the adjusters. One Claim Solutions was actually founded back in 2016. And since then, they've been able to process hundreds of millions of dollars in insurance invoices on behalf of their clients. Listen, you deserve to work with a specialist that has well-trained attorneys as well as staff. And also they have proprietary purpose-built technology with some really rigorous time-proven processes that's needed to deliver a best-in-class insurance billing experience. One Claim Solutions will handle it all so that you can focus on really what matters most, which is running your business. Head on over to oneclaimsolution.com/dominate. Again, that's oneclaimsolution.com/dominate. Book your free consultation today. Dominators, let's face it, your company will make it or break it on the backs of your estimating team. But if we're honest here for a second, what tools have you actually given them to succeed? The Actionable Profile is the newest tool inside of your estimator's toolbox, or at the very least, it should be. The Actionable Xactimate Profile is a data-driven solution that provides real-time estimating guidance on the fly. It checks for both overages, omissions in your estimates in real time, leading your team to having much more accurate scopes each and every single time that they're writing an estimate. Avoid any kind of potential conflict with the adjuster and ensure that your estimates include every single warranted line item with the Actionable Xactimate Profile. Get your free demo today. If you head on over to value.getinsights.org/dominate, we've got an amazing offer for you. Again, head on over to value.getinsights.org/dominate and get your free demo today. That one's good. Hey, Dominators, quick question. Are you looking to attract top industry talent? Well, I'm here to tell you that Weilander is the go-to recruiting company in order to attract the best talent available inside of the restoration arena, period. Now, why do I say that? Well, simple. With over 1,000 placements, and more importantly, with experience in all 50 states, as well as in good old Canada, Weilander is going to be able to find the right fit for you and your company. Weilander not only has the expertise, but more importantly, they already have the connections to make sure that they find that perfect fit for you and your organization. So listen, we all know that time is money. So stop wasting time just sifting through resume after resume and let Weilander do the heavy lifting for you. Get back to what it is that you're good at. Get back to money-making activities. Call Weilander today. Let them help you find that next superstar in your organization. All right. And we are back. All right. So where we left off was having a conversation about direct response marketing and the essentials there, right? So basically, what is direct response marketing, right? Direct response marketing is all about creating marketing messages that actually are going to have an immediate response. What you want is you want to market and you want your customer to have an immediate response to your marketing piece, whatever that is. Now, I am personally of the opinion that you have to take into account foot traffic. And I want you to think about it this way. If you were to go ahead and open up a retail store at the mall compared to a retail store, maybe in a not so popular shopping center, okay, it's safe to assume that the rental rate for the mall is going to be substantially higher than the rental rate at the shopping center. Well, the question is why, right? They both the same amount of square feet. Why is the mall more expensive? And we can all agree that it's because the mall has foot traffic. So why am I bringing this up? Because it's important to note that you are paying, regardless of what's going on, for all the traffic, for all the leads that you got and all the traffic that kind of saw you, but you didn't convert it, right? So what you really want to do is you want to take every opportunity possible to never have to repay for that set of eyeballs ever again. Now, just because, so to give you an example, let's say that somebody goes ahead and they click on your ad or they see a marketing piece and they engage with it for however long that is. Well, that click cost you, let's say, $15 or $30 or whatever it is, $50. Okay. You got a click, you didn't get a customer, right? Maybe they didn't even pick up the phone. Maybe they didn't fill out a form, right? But you still paid for that click. So if they just simply jump off your website, they jump off the landing page, what's going to happen is you just paid for that and you burn that money because now you don't have any other medium of getting in contact with them. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is you want to go ahead and track everything to the best of your ability. Give them as many marketing points as you possibly can. This includes direct response marketing. These are going to be the mailers. These are going to be the postcards. These are going to be the physical newsletters that you send out. These are going to be any and all marketing message that instills that desire for them to take an action today. Now, you might be saying, well, what if someone doesn't need my services today, right? Why should I be so focused on generating leads? Well, the reason why you're interested in generating leads is because the bigger your pond is, and the more that it's stocked with fish, well, guess what? You're not going to be out fishing very long because now you've got this like huge community, this huge list of people that you could just simply send out marketing material to. And guess what? Inevitably, something will come back. Now, how quickly that comeback is, who knows, right? That depends on your marketing ability and where your customers are. But let me just give you a very quick example of direct marketing, right? Let's say, for example, this is a campaign that has worked well for us, that we've seen work amazingly well for other people that have decided to integrate this. And I want to share this with you. Now, mind you, I know of consultants that are currently charging for this little bit of information. They're charging upwards of 10 grand for this bit of information that I'm about to give you. And I'm going to give this to you for free. And you can definitely do your research and you can figure this thing out on your own. Now, every single day in most towns, you have people that are moving out, you have people that are moving in, right? A lot of these are first-time home buyers. These are other people or people that just moved out of town. I mean, we never really know the situation, right? But here's the beauty. You could literally go and do a Google search for a mailing list of people that have just moved into town, and you can pick area codes and you can pick zip codes and you can go ahead and say, hey, look, this is the zip code that I want to target. And I want to know all the people that have just recently moved in or out of this particular neighborhood. And I want to go ahead and do a mailing campaign to those particular homes. Where you're like, Rico, wait, hold on. I'm in the water mitigation business. What on God's green earth am I ever possibly going to do if a homeowner calls me and they don't have a need for water mitigation? Great. This is where setting up your business for success really shines, right? What you're going to do is you're going to offer, okay, a multi-point home inspection because your goal is simply to get your foot in the door. You may be selling something, you may not, but your goal is to get your foot in the door. Now, this may be to check weather stripping. This may be to check, a visual inspection on plumbing, moisture readings of all of the walls, right? This may be, a courtesy, indoor air quality assessment, right? And whether that's done with a particle counter, or if you really want to go all out and spend money, with doing some kind of an aerosol or something like that. But the point is that you're going to be, number one, you got to meet somebody, or your salesperson or your project manager got to meet somebody, shake their hand in the community. Welcome to the neighborhood. We do a lot of work in this area. So glad that you moved in. Is this your first house? Great. Whatever that small chit chat is. But now you've got a new friend in the community. But at the same time, what you're doing is you are literally going to riddle this place with your company logo. Where's the water heater? Company logo. Where's the shut-off valve? Oh, the shut-off valve is over here? Great, let me show you. Or, oh, you don't know where the shut-off valve is? Let me see if I can go ahead and locate that for you. Come here, Mr. Homeowner. Hey, I found it for you here. And by the way, if you ever have a leak or if you ever have anything going on, you see this laminated thing right here? Yeah, this has got all of my company information on it. If you ever have a leak, just go ahead and pick up the phone. Make sure that the first thing that you do is stop the water. This is how you're going to do it. The second thing you're going to do, just rip this off. Pick up the phone, shoot us a call. We'll be right here to help you out. Okay, fair enough. Now, you're going to do that throughout the entire house, right? Leave a little fucking, magnet on the fridge. You're going to, put your little tags on areas of interest, mainly valves and things like that. And that way, every time that they're going around the house, they're constantly going to have this, right? So that might be a great way to send out a direct marketing piece to a brand new homeowner, or someone who's just recently moved into the neighborhood, and for you to get your foot in the door. Now, are they going to respond to your very first letter? Nope, they're not, right? Are they going to respond to the second or the third? Maybe, right? But normally what you want to do is you want to do a multi-step campaign where you're sending out and saying, hey, welcome to the neighborhood. I wanted to introduce myself. This is who we are. This is what we do. And we are currently opening up our spots to X amount of homeowners that have just moved in. It's normally a $1,000 value. We just simply want to welcome you to the neighborhood. We're going to give it to you totally free. This is the multi-point inspection that we're going to do. This is everything that you're going to get. And there's absolutely nothing to sell you. We just want to make sure that you are off and away, right? And then you send them a follow-up saying, hey, we've only got X amount of spots left. We've gotten so many response. I realized that you didn't respond, but just wanted to go ahead and get back in touch with you to see if you could do this, all right? Third one is probably to the tune of, hey, this is your last shot. We only got a couple of opportunities to go ahead and do the show, but I am willing to, after these spots are sold or after these spots are fulfilled, we can, extend you the courtesy of a, 10% discount, let's say, right? So in other words, it's prompting them and pushing them and making the noose a little bit tighter in order for them to pick up the phone, shoot you a call, and at least get your foot in the door. So figure out what that offer is. Maybe that's a free vacation package. This is stuff that we've done amazingly well with, right? And I have an entire strategy built around vacation packages. And if you guys want more information on vacation packages in particular and how we're able to give away $1,500, $1,800, $2,500 vacations, just drop me a line, Rico at restorationdomination.com, and I'll go ahead and I'll reply and I'll share that. Or if you guys want a particular episode on that alone, just let me know. I'll go ahead and I'll produce something. But even free vacation packages, you want to see something people like really raise their hand because they want a free vacation to like Orlando or Vegas or Cali or, maybe in Mexico and tons of different 5-star resorts in Mexico. It's amazing how many people will just raise their hand, like, yep, I want to get my hands on that. Right. And look, you don't care about their social economic standards, right? People are like, well, I would never ask for a free vacation. Dude, like, it doesn't matter what you think. What matters is that you're getting someone to raise their hand and you're getting their information, and that is worth money. And if you market to them and they are a homeowner, eventually you're going to go ahead and win that business over everybody else. And if you put a smile on their face while doing it, then you're definitely going to win. So that is direct response marketing. And that is just one example of what you could do with direct response marketing. But I want to take it a step further from there. Is direct response marketing something that you should only do to your new clients, right? In order to get new business? And the answer to that is absolutely no. You want to make direct response marketing part of your regular monthly marketing efforts. Point blank. That's really what you want in your business, because what you want is you want to start tracking, incentivizing people, doing referral programs, and making it known in a personal way. You want to try to make this as personal as possible. So this could be a message from the CEO. This could be if you're, a smaller organization. In other words, like you're still as the owner, even if you got, 200 people working for you, if you're still active, a personal message from that person, right? And have your marketing team come up with this content. But you want to go ahead and by doing so, you want to start seeing what the open rates are. What emails are really interesting? What topics are you talking about in your business? The people that you serve, the businesses that you saved, like something that you're proud of, new certifications, new markets that just opened up. Anything and everything is really content. And now by doing this, what you're going to start seeing is, hey, you're going to get a phone call and be like, hey, yeah, I was referred by so-and-so. All right, cool. And when you look at who so-and-so is, now you should have a database somehow, somewhere that shows you where that lead came from and all of the marketing steps that they went through, meaning all the emails, all of the mailing pieces that you sent out. You really want to get good understanding of what's working and how long these referral cycles go. And what's really surprising is that, and even for example, just to give you a real life example, I was talking to one of our restoration clients, and we were talking about something, and they're like, yeah, well, it's a good thing that we're never going to have to, do this again, because what are the odds of it happening? That same client inside of a year had 3 different situations where we had to go out to the house. And it's not because it was like worker error. It was 3 totally separate incidents that just so happened to happen. And one of which was within a week of us doing a certain project in a certain part of their home. And within a week, they had another issue. And guess what? We had to show back up. All of a sudden, right, they have a new perspective on how many times a particular situation could happen, right? And what you're going to notice is that you're going to see little pockets of customers that are calling from the exact same areas that are having several issues. And you're going to be able to really start painting a realistic picture of what your top zip codes are. What demographic is your biggest cheerleader? And then hopefully why they're your biggest cheerleader. Some people on your yearly or your end of year report, assuming that you run one, you're going to notice that there's some particular cheerleaders that are really going to shine. These are people that, maybe a handful, but it might be, 5 to 10 to 20 people that have legitimately, single-handedly put your name out there and basically made the selling process really easy. In other words, they were directly accountable for that business that you brought in. In other words, you marketed to Susie Q. Susie Q told 5 different people that ended up doing business with you because maybe she's the head of a chamber of commerce, or she's really connected, at bocce ball. Like, I don't know. Point is that she's really connected. She referred 5 people. And now what that does is you're getting an understanding of lifetime value for the customer. And because you've done that, now you understand exactly how much money you can spend on leads on average over 12, 24, 36 months and into the future, depending on how long you actually want to track lifetime value and how long your marketing efforts are going to be. And all of this is done through direct response marketing. So I want you to think of ways that you can communicate with your community and what can you offer them absolutely for free as a lead magnet, meaning what address, what email address can I send this to? What home address can I send this to? What is your cell phone number and how do I keep them updated? How do you drive traffic consistently back to your quote unquote feel good campaigns or your nurturing campaign? And take an opportunity to disclose horror stories from other companies, right? Horror stories of a customer that maybe you saved because they had a, dry out that was going on for 60 days and the guys didn't show up and they were unprofessional and they were this and they were that, and then how you had the ability, and we've all had these projects where you had to come in and, save the day and how that experience was, right? What you're doing here is you're nurturing, you're planting seeds, and you do this over and over and over again. Not only will you get a direct response, meaning people will call you from your efforts for new business, but simultaneously what you are doing is you are now building a brand. And a lot of people want to start off in the opposite direction. They want to build with the brand first, and then they want to go ahead and do marketing. Doesn't work that way. What you want to do is you want to do your marketing first, money driven first, business generating activities first. And then the branding is a byproduct of how good your marketing is. And then, of course, how good your personnel is at delivering on the promise of your service. That is really where you get the biggest bang for your buck, right? Branding, think billboard. It's an ego thing. You want people to see your company name. That's great. Pat yourself on the back. Real branding is done through your marketing and through the delivery of that promise that you told your customer, really putting a smile on your face, right? So those are kind of like the broad strokes of marketing. But now I also want to go ahead and take it a step further for your business development team. Your business development team should also be doing direct marketing. Okay. And this is a discussion that I've had with very, very high level individuals within our industry that I respect very, very much. And for some reason, there is this barrier to direct marketing to, on the commercial side of things, right? Facilities managers, things like this. Well, what's the problem? The problem, number one, is that if you look at how many doors a person can go ahead and knock on any particular day, there is a finite number. There is an end. Nobody's working 24 hours a day. And if you're looking for new business, guess what's happening? Right? Eventually, you're going to, in order to add a new door to the roster, a door has to fall off, right? Or it's not getting serviced the way that you would like it to get serviced, which in turn and by nature kind of opens you up to vulnerabilities, because now just how you were really aggressive to try to get that person's business, or how you were really looking to do that emergency response plan, or whatever your little trinket is. Well, now what you've done is, because you need to open up your schedule, right? You need to go ahead and meet new people, meet new people, meet new people. This is opening an opportunity for somebody else who's maybe more charismatic, who's, more attractive, who's, just jives with that individual better. And then boom, you're out of the picture. They got the business done because you didn't have a back end to what it is that you're doing. So think about direct marketing and what it can do to nurture a real relationship with these, facilities managers, and how you can reach out to them creatively. What kind of mailers can you send out? What issues can you solve for them? How can you be funny, different, and still add value to these people? And more importantly, what are you leaving behind when you make this first, introduction? Right? Are you leaving behind a brochure? Are you leaving, like, what material is it that you're leaving? Are you leaving pens behind? Like, stop leaving pens behind. Like, nobody cares about pens. Mouse pads, please stop. Like, it's all getting thrown in the trash. I think we all know this, right? But now, what are you doing in order to put together a campaign, a direct response campaign that, again, for those people, highlight all the times that you've been a hero? Other reviews from other, facilities managers, right? From other commercial building owners, from, business owners that, thought that they were going to have to be shut down for a week. And then somehow, you were able to open up their doors within 24 hours. The seamlessness of the entire process, like all of these great testimonies that you're constantly sending out. And then plus, maybe, you introduce a new team member, a new business development, professional that you just, brought onto the team, and you make it personal. And this all of a sudden starts building a relationship. Now, is that alone going to sell? No, but you know what will? It will fill in some of the gaps between those visits. It will also demonstrate that you are more on your game than the previous people that have passed by, that just wanted to drop off a mouse pad, that wanted to go ahead and drop off a couple of pens. So direct response marketing, physical marketing, in conjunction with what we know today, digital marketing, and in particular, PPC for the brand new customers coming in, mainly residential, some business. Like, if you start looking at where these areas merge, you really start to produce this amazing lead generating machine, as well as a nurturing machine that builds your business. So keep those things in mind, and really start thinking, what can I start doing in my business today? What can I start communicating? And more importantly, how can I use technology as it stands today, and in order to shortcut all of these ideas? In other words, I don't really know what to write about. Great. Use the technology that's available that can kind of help you get off the block strong and start producing that content. The last thing that I want to talk to you about is tracking and optimization. Now, tracking and optimization seems really daunting, and it can, in fact, get a little complex. But here's a couple of websites that you can go to if you don't know how to track, let's say, your digital assets and your digital marketing efforts, right? And how to track what are called conversions, how many clicks, how many people, actually took an action. What did they convert? Did they convert into a phone call? Did they convert into a form fill? Like, what's going on? If you go on to like simple sites like Fiverr.com, right? Fiverr.com, you can go ahead and find somebody that can literally optimize your Google Ads campaign for like 10, 15, 20 bucks. First of all, it's not complicated. You could probably figure it out yourself. There's tons of training on how you can do so, but let's just say you don't even want to do that because it's not the best use of your time. You could pay somebody 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 bucks. Boom, it's all optimized for you. On the digital or should I say on the more of the direct response marketing aspect of things, this is where you really want to take your time and start tracking. And how do you track the effectiveness? Several ways to do it. Number one, landing pages. Well, we're talking about, hard, physical products, like a physical mailer. Why are you talking about landing pages again? Here's why. One of the reasons why I love ClickFunnels so much is because you can quickly and effectively, within a couple of minutes, put up a landing page with whatever your messaging is, right? Now what you could do is you can generate a QR code on your mailing list that when they scan that QR code, it takes them directly to the landing page. And on that landing page, as well as on the physical document that you're sending them, whether that's a postcard or a letter or what they call a mail grabber, now you can have your own phone number for that particular campaign, so you can track it across all of your marketing efforts, right? So, but there's some software that's out there, but there's going to be, the best way that we found is just really being meticulous about tagging some kind of an Excel sheet and or a Google sheet with all of the people that you're doing mailings to. And then as they start calling in from certain phone numbers, you cross-reference that. And there's some, if you use Zapier, there's tons of integrations that you can use with Zapier. Again, if that sounds overly complicated, which sometimes it is, you can go ahead and just simply go onto Fiverr.com, hire somebody for a couple of bucks. They'll go ahead and do the automations for you. And once it's done, and it just runs on autopilot. But make sure that whatever you do, you don't just start a marketing campaign and not track it. And a lot of people think that they track it based on how many phone calls they're going to get. That's not the way you should track your marketing. Track it through pixels, track it through actual web traffic, track it through a solo phone number that is only being used for that solo campaign. Use it through landing pages that are getting traffic, because you know that the only way that they got to this landing page is because they found it via this particular medium. And really take your time to understand your numbers and understand your metrics. Conclusion of all of this is very simple. Favorite marketing campaigns that I think all businesses in our industry should start to implement. Number one, if you're looking to go ahead and get into direct to consumer, PPC, pay per click advertising is going to be possibly the fastest and most successful way you can go ahead and do that. Okay. You can skip all of the BS, skip all of the SEO. If you already have great SEO, great. Double down, get more digital real estate on the front page. Not only can you run your PPC, but if they scroll past it, they're still going to see you hopefully in the map section of Google and or on the very front page of Google, right? So if all things go well, maybe you have 3 locations, possibly even 4. That would be your Google Ads, your map pack, your organic main page, and then maybe like a secondary inner website page that shows up as well. So again, that would be ideal. But if you're not ranked on Google yet, great. Skip all of that BS. You go ahead and pay to play and use technology like ChatGPT. Again, I will leave a link in the video description below to go ahead and create the most engaging headlines, to go ahead and engage the most engaging description, make it personal, make it comical, make it controversial, make it to where it stands out. Again, you don't want to win a popularity contest with your peers. You want to crush the competition. You want to dominate your marketplace, right? So stop thinking about what's correct, within the industry, is this considered professional? Is this not? Forget about all that shit. What you care about, is it going to get a click? Because once I get that click and I paid for it, now I can go ahead and market to you, right? And by having your tracking done properly, again, using a landing page like ClickFunnels, again, 14-day free trial. If you want to go ahead and check out ClickFunnels, I highly, highly recommend. It should really be a mandatory thing for every business to have a ClickFunnels account, period. But if you want to go ahead and check it out, play with it for 14 days, go ahead and check out the link in the video description and in the show notes below. ClickFunnels will now also allow you to track all of that. And then if you have your pixels set up correctly, you've got all of these other ways on the digital landscape that you can go ahead and track them. So for a great example of this, as a matter of fact, as a side note, and I'm not that he needs another plug on my show, but Albiware is a great example of this. Let me give you an example. So I've been on the Albiware website, and now when I'm on certain websites or I'm on certain pages on Google or whatever the case may be, guess what I see? I see Albiware's logos, right? Like all over the place, like, restoration software, like all this stuff, like, and that's great. And the reason why I'm getting that is because they're using retargeting, right? They have all of that stuff set up properly in the back end to where now I'm pixeled and now it's chasing me around the internet, and wherever there is a display ad, sometimes I see like the Albiware thing pop up. And most of you out there have probably experienced the exact same thing, right? That would be considered retargeting, which is a little bit outside of the scope of what we're talking about today. So now you've got your PPC, you've got your landing page, you've got all of that good stuff. You're tracking it with phone numbers as well. Like I said, recommendation would be CallRail, an amazing software as well. Tons of other software that you could also use and or integrate with what you have currently working right now. And then finding creative ways, downloads, ebooks, vacations, whatever the case may be, that simply all you care about at that point is just give me info. That's all you care about. I know that most of us say that we care about getting a sale. The sales will come. The business will come. Focus on marketing, getting eyeballs onto your company, getting email lists, getting emails on your email list, getting addresses on your mailing list, getting all of this information. The more information that you have, the more information, customer information that you have over your competitor, the more likely it is that you will beat them out as far as market share is concerned. Once you have that and you start building it, make sure that you have a good physical marketing campaign, not only for residential, but you also are developing a real mailing campaign and nurturing campaign to your business development people, right? Like, your facilities managers, things like that. If you use all of this correctly, already you're going to have a one-up on the majority of the competition in your local market. Just make sure that you're looking at it, using the tools that are available, and ask yourself the question, what can I do that's going to make my company more visible? And what can I do to continuously engage with the people that have engaged with my organization, whether they were simply window shopping, or if we're looking to earn their business in the future, like, a commercial building, facilities manager, things like that. I mean, obviously the only reason why we're showing up, it's not to romance them, it's to romance them into doing business with us. Like, that's the only reason why, right? So how can I further increase that interaction and add value through my marketing? And also, how can I market to the people that have already sent me business, right? The people that have already done business with me. And how can I stay front of mind? How can I, 36 months from now, if their cousin has an issue, they don't say to their cousin, man, you know what? I had this great experience with this restoration company. They were so good. They were so courteous. They were, their trucks were clean. They protected my house so well, man. I don't got the name of that company, man. I totally forgot. I don't even, and all of a sudden you're erased from the history books, right? The likelihood of them opening up their phone, trying to find an invoice, trying to find a company name, it's very, very weak, right? Whereas if you were marketing to this person 36 months later, it's not costing you anything, okay? It just costs you a little bit of thought and thinking through the process. 36 months later, that could have potentially been an additional customer that, number one, is inherently going to be more profitable than every other customer that you got. Because guess what? There was no acquisition cost outside of the fact that you marketed to another person who already paid for their own lead cost, right? Does that make sense? So making sure that all of these things are working together, in my opinion, is the secret sauce. So I know there was a lot of broad strokes, and I know that there was a lot of technical things that we discussed today. And this could very easily be a 5-hour podcast about the nitty gritty of each and every single one of these scenarios. But what I really wanted to cover in this podcast was PPC, the importance of PPC. A lot of people are sleeping on PPC today. Campaign prices today are actually really, really competitive. compared to even just a few months ago. Something's happening there, which I think is a great opportunity for people to take advantage of. And then secondly, very, very few people are really taking the time to think through their direct marketing responses and constantly keeping in the front of their mind of like, how can I potentially have some action being taken today based on these marketing efforts? Am I going to get an address? Am I going to get an email? Am I going to get a phone number? Can I offer them something in return for business? How can I make them part of my cheerleading team? How can I make them a brand ambassador? How can I do all of these things? And then really thinking through that process. I promise you, if you really take the time to think about it, that could be the one element in your business that totally turns everything around and put you in a position to where you are dominating your local marketplace. So guys, that's what we got for today. I hope that you got some value from that. And remember, if you have any questions on any of the software, any of the trainings, anything that I spoke to you about, make sure that you just go ahead and drop us a line, send me an email at Rico@restorationdomination.com. Again, that's Rico, RICO, at restorationdomination.com. And we'll be more than happy to go ahead and reach out to you or have somebody on my team reach out to you to maybe guide you in the right direction from there. And as always, make sure that you keep it real, hustle, hack, dominate. I'll catch you guys on the next one.
You've been listening to Restoration Domination, your #1 resource for tips, tricks, and hacks to help your business grow. Subscribe to our channel and follow us for more Restoration Domination. And follow our host at Rico Garcia Jr. on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Till next time, this is Restoration Domination. Hustle, hack, dominate.